G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to cover everything that happened today in the TNA Duo Tournament, who won the rounds, who's looking the best, just anything I picked up as well, because pros have to start paying attention to duos. So do you guys. Like, DreamHack Duos is around the corner. Stack Duos are going to be a thing for the majority of the big regions. So I want to talk a little bit about how the games went today and how Duos is looking in general. Also, we had a really interesting leak from HypeX about what's happening with the map changes we were promised, and I don't know how to feel about this one. I feel like I'm the one who just constantly keeps complaining about lack of map changes, and it looks like we have a leak for what these new map changes are going to be. They don't look the best. Hear me out. You guys know me. I'm not one that just keep complaining. I just feel like Epic is really missing the mark right now with map changes, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video. In case you guys missed it, I talked about it in yesterday's video. We had the TNA Duo Cup today. It was a $6,000 duo tournament, and the format was interesting. It wasn't like your regular tournament format where, you got 20 points for the win, you got elims. It was basically $1,000 to the winning team every game for 6 games. So all that mattered was the win. And I thought you guys might want to know who was popping off and who was looking the best. We actually had game 1 won by Felix and Sparebow, but it came down to a 1v1 between Felix and Commandment at the very end. Game 2 was won by Centered and Commandment, so they came second and first in the first 2 games. Game 3 was won by TK and Unreal. Game 4 was won by DGen and Ages. Game 5 was won by XMB and Chimp, but again, it came down to XMB versus DGen Ages for the heal off. And then Game 6 went down to OSP and Accept. Now, this was interesting because you already probably heard 2 of the most consistent teams, Centered and Commandment, and then DGen Ages. Centered and Commandment, interestingly, are actually contested at caddy corners, so they did phenomenally well for a team that was contested all 6 games. Also, DGen and Ages not contested, but because there was the interesting kind of situation going on with their drop split, I talked about it yesterday. They did have a lot of teams dropping around the Orchard and Corny Complex, taking some of their loot. I was surprised to see them do incredibly well as well. Now, of course, this format did lend players to play a little bit differently. It was all about just going for high ground, going for the victory royale, or sitting low ground and going for the heal off. What I said earlier in one of my videos about how I actually quite like the heal off meta this season, I have to agree. After seeing today's tournament, chug cannons are possibly one of the best items we've seen for heal offs because it gives a very big visual and audio cue. You know where the player's healing off because there's these giant splashes of water coming out. So you can actually push them, pressure them, and try to get an elimination. Whereas before, when it was floppers and medkits, you just pop a medkit, you'd be like, 6 boxes back, and then you just start eating floppers and they have no idea where you are. So even though a lot of the games were going to heal off, and I think a lot of the games in trios will go to heal off, the fact that they're with the chug cannon, it was pretty good. I actually really liked it. As for which drops were looking the best or any kind of gameplay styles, it's hard to base off the gameplay because, again, it was only going for the win. But as for the drop spots, I think right now the map is actually pretty decent for duos. There's quite a lot of duo drops that you wouldn't expect outside of the main POIs or taking a portion of the POI and another area around it. I don't think the map looks too great right now for trios. There's just not enough drop spots. But when it comes to duos and solos, there's quite a few shamble routes you can piece together. So the games looked good, and I don't think there's one POI that I'm going to call out to be the best. Also, you guys were asking all day how the OCE guys did because they finally got to NA. I don't want to make excuses again because obviously I am biased. I love the OCE boys. I'm really good friends with all 3 of them. Luda and Avery did quite well. One of the games, I believe they came 4th. Muzz and Speedy unfortunately got themselves into a little bit of drama straight off the plane in NA. Muzz and Speedy's drop for the last, I think, 4 or 5 seasons has been Lazy Lake in trios, duos, and solos for Muzz. They were going to drop Lazy Lake, but it being on top of Stretch and Edgy, I think there was some tweets that went around. Stretch started talking a little bit of smack, even saying that the only reason why the TNA trio have an uncontested drop for trios tomorrow is because the organizers, which is TNA, deliberately didn't invite Casca and Smacked and Niddle, which is obviously the retail row team. I'm not going to go into that too much. You guys know me. I try to avoid the drama, but it's pretty quick to see why Muzz and Speedy didn't go Lazy Lake, especially when Stretch is the one who runs the practice scene in NA East. This sparked a whole debate on my stream. Just because you run the prac Discord doesn't mean you should be able to get people to not drop on you. That's not fair. It's just kind of how it works. It happens in every region. The prac cords ran by every region. The players who run those prac cords, they do have an extra ace up their sleeves if people start griefing them, but they're always going to argue the same thing. Why would a brand new team in the region who hasn't proven themselves drop on a team who is one of the favorites to win? That's usually how the argument goes. I don't like to weigh in on it too much because people get really upset and get really offended. I kind of leave it to the pros because as someone who hasn't played in these pro lobbies but watches it a lot, I understand the argument of why is a bad team dropping on a good team, they're just griefing them. But then I fully understand the argument as well. If you're so good, just beat them. So I don't want to hash up that argument, but Muzz and Speedy ended up not dropping Lazy Lake. They decided to go Camp Cod, which I've talked about this in multiple videos. Camp Cod is a horrendous drop, especially if you don't know how to play it, because Storm Surge routes are just impossible. It is way too hard to find your Storm Surge. You are tucked on the very edge of the map, down on the ocean, behind mountains, and no way to see anyone. Even worse for Muzz and Speedy, every time they tried to rotate retail way with boats or come in off the edge, which is quite a common path from Camp Cod, they would run straight into DC and Palm, which are obviously the Wager Warriors, the insane Zone Wars gods who would just key anyone they saw. So unfortunately the day didn't go too great for them, but I'm more excited to see how they go in trios tomorrow. They were all also playing not on their setups today. I believe Muzz was actually playing on the owner of TNA's setup, not his own. So tomorrow they'll have their PCs and we'll see how trios goes. On that note as well, remember guys, today's viewing party was amazing. Thank you so much for showing up to the stream. Tomorrow or today, by the time you watch this video, I will be live for not only the TNA Trio Cup at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll also be live for the Formula Cup Trio Tournament at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we've got 2 tournaments to watch tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. Twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. I'll be doing bingo board for gifted subs, predictions, all that fun stuff. All right, let's talk about these map changes that we've all been so excited about since the start of the season. I've made multiple videos talking about it. You guys obviously know my stance, or most people's stance on this. We were promised some crazy map changes throughout the season. We are now a good 4 or 5 weeks in, and we haven't really had any map changes. The main one being Holy Hatchery, and we've just figured out from Hypex, he tweeted out 17 hours ago when I recorded this video, the no gravity zone in Holy Hatchery is supposed to grow in the upcoming days. It'll be the size of the POI, and props/trees will become alien themes. We might even see other POIs get the same thing as teased in week 4 challenges. I don't want to be that guy. I don't like to complain. I'm not too happy about that. I'm sorry. You guys know I wanted a crazy, new, ridiculous map. I talked about how I was hashtag team nuke the map. I would have done anything. I would do hours, days of challenges if it helped the storyline. It made me help the aliens destroy the map. I want something different. And so far, the only thing that has changed is some crash pads and some weird alien like party themes at Believers Beach. And now we have this anti-gravity zone put in Holy Hatchery, which I personally find really annoying to try to deal with. Now the map change is going to be just that expanding, and potentially that just happening in other areas of the map. I have to say it, I'm going to sound like such a Karen. It's just not good enough. I just feel like not enough is happening, but I will give Epic their defense. They're on break right now. They still are on their summer break. When they come back, I hope that's when the map changes start going crazy. I also heard from a pretty good source that Epic Games just hired 5 environmental designers, which is basically people who are involved in game design specifically for environments and things like maps. So let's just hope maybe Epic didn't have the resources or the team there. Now they have a team together. They're going to start making crazy map changes, because I was expecting a lot more from this season, especially throughout the weeks in the season, and we just haven't had that much. I've been playing a bunch of arena. I have like 25,000 arena points, which has been fun, but I want to drop somewhere different. I want something cool. I want something new, and the only new thing we have, most people don't seem to enjoy. I know it's supposed to be crazy and fun and you teleport around. That's cool, but that gets old really, really quickly. All I want is some new buildings, some new biomes. I've been talking about biomes for the longest time, and I actually saw this post on the Fortnite BR Reddit by a user, I believe Brosley. They made this concept of a map showing you what the map would look like if the changes weren't always in the middle of the map and if there were different biomes. How cool does this look? How much better of a map does this look? Like, I would enjoy this so much. We need something like this. I don't understand why the community's come up with so many cool concepts. Everyone seems to love them, and then Epic just doesn't do them. I have to I have to think I'm not the only one just being too negative here to expect more. The amount of map changes we used to get was crazy. And it's not just Fortnite. Apex Legends has like 3 or 4 maps now. PUBG has like 8 or 9 maps now. It seems like Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone are the only 2 BR titles that aren't really getting any major map changes. They have a few updates, they change a few buildings, but that's about it. Why? I don't understand. Someone in my chat today said that it was maybe like a storyline element because, you know, the map can only change with the storyline. They maybe need to develop the storyline more. But I think when you have aliens and IOs, like IO guards battling each other on a map, you could have done an insane amount of changes with that. So again, I don't know if I'm just beating a dead horse here. I don't know if you guys are getting overhearing me say it, but getting another leak for how the map might change and hearing that it's just, in my opinion, not that exciting, it kind of rehashed up me wanting to talk about this, especially when I got a really cool photo of how the map could look right now if Epic just listened. All right, guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.